I was looking at the Newark subway on the Google Maps earlier because I came across some piece on YouTube about some piece somewhere about the Gateway Project, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, how's that going? And then I learned more about the Gateway Project and how the scope is all the way from Newark Penn all the way into New York Penn, not to be confused at all, and includes a number of different comically expensive bridge replacements in addition to the tunnel. And apparently they're retrofitting like a 100-plus-year-old 6-track lift bridge into a fixed bridge. Screw boats, I guess. Anyways, but I was just browsing this on the map, and I'm like, where's the light rail line? Is it underground? Where'd it go?
It's underground.
Which was very surprising, because I've ridden the one in Hoboken or whatever. Whatever the hell they call that one. Some stupid name.
Hudson Bergen Light Rail.
Yeah, the stupid name they have for that one. I've ridden that one, and it's just like, wow, it sure is a light rail. But apparently the other one's a subway.
It's partly a subway. It's mostly a light rail.
Yeah, but the fact that it has any subway at all, pretty cool.
I mean, what's interesting about it, well, you'll learn. That's why we're having an episode of the Red Line _pod.
What do you mean we don't get to do the entire the Red Line _pod episode in the cold open?
No, you don't, actually. Otherwise you put, like, many work on the line.
True. So how's everybody's week?
Fine.
And dandy?
Maybe not dandy, just fine. I was excited to see the airport tunnel.
Oh yeah, how is the tunnel?
Fantastic.
Oh, why are you calling every tunnel the channel now, Kyle?
Well, this
Can you
one,
please explain this to me?
it goes under the channel between the two terminals.
I don't know if I'd call it a channel.
Right, I think that would just be like a road or a taxiway or...
Actually, channel might be okay.
Thank you, Alex. I appreciate that.
Don't agree with him.
Well, no, because think about it. The English channel is sea level. And we measure everything based off of sea level. So that's like 0. And then we think about like the airport pavement as ground level, which we would measure
tarmac level.
What
building height from.
Crackhead theory are you spouting right
Does
now?
that not make sense?
Well, it applies to geometry around like the entire airport. Like the whole terminal complex has to be grade separated. Different floors for baggage and passengers are all based off tarmac level. All the ground transportation and stuff needs to be positioned relative to tarmac level, so it's not in the flight path.
Yeah, I think you were cooking, Kyle.
You guys are crackheads.
If you prefer, I'll posit a different theory that I call everything the channel because A, it's funny, and B, every tunnel project in this country feels like building the channel.
I think that I prefer that because it makes sense.
Okay, viewers, pick whichever theory you want. They're both not true.
The Real Lies podcast.
Giving you multiple lies to choose from.
Wow. Alternatives, if you will.
We, as your sort of benevolent dictators.
Ah, yes.
We give you so many lies to choose from.
Yeah, we did a truth impact study, and now we're giving you lie alternatives.
Yeah, because we know truth doesn't matter. Okay, let's pod a cast. Let's cast a pod.
Yeah, shall we cast a rod and catch some lies?
Welcome to the internet. Live from a Subway restaurant somewhere near you, this is the Red Line Podcast. I'm your host, quote, Eat Soup Dunstan, and these are my co-hosts.
Kyle, quote, Swing states are a social construct, close quote, Holland, and...
Alex, quote, I enjoy soup as well, close quote, Fielder. Today we're discussing the first half of a system so nice they made it twice. The New Jersey light rail system. Just why does Newark have a subway, and what does its future hold? All this after the news.
And why do people put light rail in the name of their light rail?
Because it's fun, that's why. Kyle, why do you hate fun? Why do you hate fun?
Oh.
No, answer the question.
Sorry, I've been canceled.
Yeah, you are canceled for hating fun.
No, I hate branding that isn't branding. Like, if I want to describe tracks as a light rail system, nobody's going to stop me from doing that. But at least as a little moniker that we can throw around and people know exactly what it refers to. And it's less syllables than the Hudson Bergen Light Rail.
Or the Newark City Subway / Newark Light Rail.
Yeah. Let me just hop on the Hubblr real quick on my way to work.
I love to take the
Let me just
Hubblr to my job in
Yeah.
downtown New York City.
Well, let me just hop on the Hubblr because they're closing the Hoboken Path Station for 25 days, starting in next year, because it's falling apart and disintegrating because it's old as shit.
Well, I mean, it is older than like it is very old. It's like what, 120 now?
Something like that, and a little bit of deferred maintenance here and there. Such and so
Deferred
forth.
maintenance, more like fun.
Yeah.
Signed every New York City transit agency. And hey, the Hubblr goes under. Oh no, it doesn't. That's a lie. The Realize podcast.
Line number 1.
We're making up lies so fast we can't even say them because we've already corrected them.
It's elevated some of it though. So checkmate, liberals.
That's cool. More ambitious than most light rails.
So true.
Oh yes, liberals and their light rail.
Yeah, because it has the letter L in it.
I was gonna say liberals and their comprehensive subway systems, but
That's true.
we
Would
can
you
politicize
consider?
all rail systems if we want.
So before we start, would you consider Exchange Place the Embarcadero of Path?
I know the name of that station. I have not actually been there or looked at it.
I just love to.
I'll say yes, just to be possibly inflammatory.
Slightly.
Oh, that one. No, I
inflammatory.
have been there. My bad. I have been there before. Staying in New Jersey while visiting New York, as many people do, including people who live there. Would I call it the Embarcadero of Paths? 60%.
I mean, it's on a 60%. That's
60%.
good. Okay, I like it. You can
For
go.
good and bad reasons. Like, good reason, station placement. It's right at, Embarcadero positioning, right? Reason that is derogatory to the actual Embarcadero station is this one has a cool flying Y. Since when did actual Embarcadero have that?
It doesn't have a flying.
Lame.
Oh, it does. But there's one in Oakland, Kyle.
And does Oakland have an Embarcadero style station right on the waterfront? Didn't think so.
That is true.
Check and
Wokeland
mate.
loses again.
Yeah,
Oh, they should really make me a Fox News commentator.
definitely. And Exchange Place doesn't have like a weird ass waterfront thing. It's just got like a normal river walk.
What do you mean a weird ass waterfront thing?
Like San Francisco's waterfront is like so overdone, whereas Jersey just has like this cute little walkway.
Okay, well, there you go. So,
Hot
give us the news noise, Kyle.
do 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 do.
Just 1 second. Yeah, the cat just woke up and it is pissed and hungry.
Woke
I gotta
cat.
feed the cat real quick.
Why is it? Can you
Okay,
explain to me why it's pissed?
It's always pissed.
Have you
It's
met a
like
cat before?
An
Sophie?
angry god of a cat in Alex's
This is actually
house
just
here.
how cats work.
No, it's not, because I've had a cat and
Yes,
it
it
was
is.
not pissed.
Broke ass cat.
I don't know what your cat looks like.
Yeah,
know,
cat
it's-
tax,
it's like one
cat
of the
tax,
default-
cat tax.
Default cat variants.
Can we get
I know,
like a
it's like-
cat tax for the YouTube video?
Is it orange?
No, it's not that evil. But all of like cat personality is based on like their color schemes.
True. All right. While Alex is feeding the cat, presumably away from the microphone that's
I-
recording,
I've just fed the cat, and there might be a crunch here or there, but
we'll enjoy your crunchy cat.
yeah, it's not gourmet, so
You're not gourmet.
yeah.
Your mom's not gourmet. Gourmet.
Got her.
Wow.
I will cover the thing I was doing in the cold open for the news in further detail, which is that the Port Authority is closing the Hoboken Path Station, which is where Path interchanges with all the commuter trains, which is very important because they can only run so many into actual New York. At least for now. We'll see with the new tunnels in 2050 or 2070 or whatever. But in the meantime, they terminate a bunch of trains at Hoboken, where you then get on a PATH train, and it will take you into New York through one of the two other rail tunnels.
Yes, we're going to discuss this later in the episode.
But they're closing the station from 11:59 p.m. on January 30th of next year till 5 a.m. on February 25th.
It's very
fine.
specific.
No one needs it, right?
Well, it turns out people need it to work in the long term, and they're just going to like completely redo a bunch of switch and track work and like station interiors and all of that.
Oh,
Huh.
They're replacing all of the station tracks and all of the station interlocking.
So everything.
maybe they'll get ambitious and finish early.
That does
Probably not, though.
occasionally happen.
That does happen sometimes. They're also doing 4 replacement staircases as well.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah. And they're doing it in 25 days straight instead of 28 weekends.
That's a good idea.
I think I like that better.
Yeah.
Well, a better idea would have been to not defer maintenance since the system was originally built, but, you know, with where we're at.
What can you do?
And hey, ferries stay relevant.
This is true. Ferries
Still-
will stay relevant.
It's literally still a functioning ferry terminal. So,
A big functioning ferry terminal too. Like if you go on the Google Maps and you look at it, there's just like a trizillion different ferry lines. Well, I guess there's 3 or 4, but
I'm sure they'll probably run some sort of increased service because, you know, that's what everybody used before there were trains and tubes.
this is true.
You're
So,
true. Before I spoil the
imagine.
entire episode,
Yes.
did we finish the news? I don't think we finished the
We
news.
need the news
do
noise.
do.
Down.
I should do that, but with pitch bent cat meow samples.
This was supposed to be a short episode, you know, but then not anymore.
All right, hit us with this hypothetical short episode
Shit.
that
Well,
we're 20 minutes into.
So, imagine that you have a commuter rail / commuter metro line that is so freaking gigachad powerful that you have to use light rail lines instead of buses to feed it, and you'll understand the purpose of Eastern New Jersey's 2 light rail systems.
Well, maybe this is what happens if New York's 6th borough has like 1 subway instead of like 20.
2 subways, 3 subways even. Be nice.
Okay.
So, we'll talk about the larger of the 2 next week, but I thought that this week we could do a deep dive into the Newark City subway, one of the country's strangest and most interesting rail transit systems. And yes, I do know that it's technically 2 different lines, but I'll probably just keep calling both of them the Newark City subway for the entire episode, even though one of them is extremely not a subway.
Yeah, I thought we were talking about the Hubler as well.
I got too interested in this one.
Okay, so, oh my goodness, this is New York series Flation. So we're just doing one of the New Jersey lines. There's also the Blur and the Path and the commuter lines.
This is correct. Aren't you excited?
we're going to have content forever.
Content. You know you
Yeah,
love
why didn't
content.
we think about doing New York before? Like, we're set for a whole other season, whatever that is.
I'm
for us.
thinking like, let's see, this will be part like 1 of like, let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I don't know, maybe like 15, 16 episodes of New York.
Well, and then we could do an additional episode about like pure hypotheticals, like a Greenfield high-speed Northeast Corridor.
That might be a little much.
We could do one about automation.
We've already
We could
done an
design our dream Schweeb system for New York.
Oh,
yeah, that's what New
Schweeb
York
tunnels under the
really
Hudson.
needs is a Schweeb. Many people are saying this.
Yeah,
Danke
so
schön.
many people.
So, Most of New Jersey's population have been New York City commuters for like a century and a half now. So by the time that the
New York's
electric
sixth
street,
borough.
yes, so that by the time that electric streetcars began to appear on the transport scene, there was already huge trans-Hudson demand. In 1908, the Pennsylvania Railroad opened their first rail crossing under the Hudson, and Newark began looking for a way to connect its booming population to the commuter trains that took them to work. The predecessors of the present-day PATH train had also opened by then, creating even more demand for a way to get to the train.
Yeah, and pre-path ferry.
Yeah, there was also, many ferries, and people, go to work and stuff. So
Path is essentially just a ferry replacement after all.
PATH is entirely just a ferry replacement. Yeah.
If this was in Britain, it would be called the ferry replacement rail service.
Ferp. Ferp.
Yeah.
Furs.
Cool. But like you're saying, not everybody lives at a commuter train station, although a lot of people do. It's a very extensive network, but not everybody does.
Yeah.
Especially up in like the more urbanized parts of Jersey, like Jersey City and Newark.
Okay, Kyle. I think you're just being
Am I saying
problematic
I'm right?
now.
Probably.
Problematic era for Kyle. Well, not era. I mean, he always has been, but so
And you would never be problematic.
not once. So the opportunity
Okay.
appeared to do this in the late 1920s with the closure of the Morris Canal, which had been built to transport coal from the western half of the state into the industrial east. It was an impressive piece of engineering, undergoing more than 900 feet of elevation change over its 107-mile run. But by the 1920s, coal demand was slackening and the canal wasn't much use anymore.
I always forget we have...
Germany, this is your indication that coal is obsolete and stupid. Take a hint.
I always forget about our canal era.
Yeah,
It's so fun.
canals were the OG
Canals were
thing.
like the most... Canals built America, not railroads. Anyone who tells you otherwise is a liar and a fraud.
Railroads built Western America.
Yeah, that's true. Canals built Eastern America. I think that's a good...
This is very true. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I'm
you'll
glad they
notice all
didn't.
of our population centers are like major water shipping routes.
Pretty much, with like one or two
Commerce.
exceptions. Yeah. Yeah. So
So anyways, coal is dumb and stupid.
coal is dumb and stupid, and Transport of New Jersey, which is a subsidiary of the massive state-owned Public Service Corporation, which was New Jersey's equivalent of a light and traction company, bought up the Newark section of the canal and was like, let's turn it into a streetcar subway.
That's hilarious. Canal to
So-
subway conversion. Is this like a first?
No, because Syracuse did that.
Oh.
So-
Oh, right. I remember this from our upstate New York episode.
Or was it Rochester? I don't remember. It was one of them.
Is this just like draining the canal and covering it?
I think, no, they didn't even cover it. Like, it's just an open
Oh.
cut most of the way. So it's just like, let's put tracks in the bottom of this canal and we'll call that good.
Okay.
Oh, I guess
Count me in.
water's not going to seep in, right?
No.
Because you drained it.
Because
So,
it's waterproof.
No, but that's cool, and it's a good fit between technology and alignment. Like, it's got these curves that would be considered very broad and sweeping by light rail standards.
yes, a broad and sweeping curve. It has a radius of like 20 feet. So, construction on the short 1 mile cut and cover subway section and its longer canal conversions / surface bits began in 1929 with a section from Military Park to Branch Brook Park, present day station names, not the original station names, completed in 1935. The line to Newark's shiny new Penn Station was completed 2 years later in 1937. Penn Station became like
Wow.
the first truly intermodal transit station because it had light rail, it was streetcars, it had buses, it had long distance trains, it had commuter trains, it had subway trains. So it was a big deal.
Pretty cool.
I can picture like old-timey news reporters being like, soon enough you'll be able to take a rocket ship to Mars.
From Newark
Accurate.
Penn Station.
They wish.
Dateline here in Newark
but-
City, New Jersey. Today, the first intermodal train station opened. Pretty soon, you'll be able to take a rocket to Mars. What a world we live in. Motor cars, rockets. You know, like just sort of insane.
Yeah, you don't get to make fun of me anymore. Startlingly old for what is now a light rail system, I'll say.
Well, it just didn't die. It's really hard to sort of like kill off.
This gives me like very San Francisco streetcar vibes. Is that this is like an odd duckling that survived for some specific reason and is now running presumably modern light rail rolling stock.
The specific reason we will get to in just a moment. So the subway had its own dedicated service, which was known as line number 7, but a bunch of other streetcar lines also used portions of the system to get to Penn Station or other Newark destinations. But as Newark declined
service pattern
in the second half of the 20th century, all of the other streetcar lines except the city subway were eventually shut down. That includes another one that had a little subway section, which was paved over and buses put in it, but it was too expensive to pave over this one, so they just left it. And the decline was like serious, right? Like this was not a joke. Newark went from 430,000 people in 1950 to just 275,000
Holy
in
crap.
1990.
Holy crap.
So they lost like what, 155,000 people?
Rust Belt solidarity.
They lost most of Salt Lake City.
Yeah,
And they
how
probably
hard
lost,
did we deindustrialize?
they would have lost even more people because that end number is people having kids who stayed, isn't it?
This is true. The answer, Kyle, of course, being racism.
Oh.
Newark has always been a fairly a black city, so by the time New Jersey Transit took over in 1980, it was run down and still using PCC cars from 1954, which it would keep doing for more than 20 years.
Were PCCs like the only car back then?
Yes, they were. And the train cars were already secondhand when they were bought from Twin Cities Transit in 1954. So these are like already old, and they're going to get much older before they get replaced. So, as Newark's fortunes started to look better near the turn of the century, New Jersey Transit began working on a project to fix and expand the system. New Kinky Chariot trains were introduced in 2001 after almost 50 years of PCC service. The PCCs were sold to a variety of buyers, including Muni. I have ridden one of them, actually.
Flipping, of course, they were.
Yeah.
I can't believe they were resold and not just scrapped.
Well, they were
The F market.
the F Market / E Embarcadero. We couldn't possibly have modern streetcars on our streetcar line.
The tourism revenue might take a hit.
It has to be a heritage thing. Alex doesn't sound impressed. And then,
Hey, I like history, but I don't know.
but not that much.
No, not that much. I'll go to a museum.
I would like to be you'd like to be able to take a normal streetcar. Interesting concept. So in 2002, the system saw its first expansion in almost 70 years, a short 2-stop extension to the northeast and the suburbs of Bloomfield and Belleville. Wikipedia says that this part of the line shares track with freight, but I couldn't find any more good info about that. So I guess UTA / New Jersey Transit solidarity.
Yeah, real. We need like the Isaac Madsen of the East Coast to go look at that for us.
I think that would be Alan Fisher.
Yeah, but does Alan Fisher actually get up and go foam freight trains?
I think he does.
Cool.
So, I feel like everyone does except me. Like, I don't know. Do you foam freight trains, Kyle?
I did like a Union Pacific special like once. Because one of the friends of the
Oh.
podcast suggested it. That was it.
Oh,
No.
you mean like the passenger special?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's different.
It's basically a freight train by my standards.
Is it? It only carries people. Okay. I mean, it's a free country.
Yeah, thank
you can
thank
think
you.
things that are wrong.
Oh, yep, true. I do
So-
this many times.
Yeah, this is the Real Wise podcast after all. So immediately after the Bloomfield expansion was completed, work began on a much more ambitious project, connecting downtown Newark's main train stations with light rail. Yes,
Wow.
I said stations. Imagine your
It has
downtown having
two.
two train stations instead of one.
And both of them are through stations, which is really cool.
Both of them are through stations. No super dumb terminal stations.
This isn't like London where there's like 20 terminal stations right next to each other.
Don't talk down on my city.
You don't like the UK.
You were born and raised in the US,
Yeah.
last I checked.
Until it's convenient.
And your family is from Slough.
Oh, okay.
Okay, a suburb of London.
Slough is a suburb of London in the same way that Salt Lake City is a suburb of Logan is a suburb of Salt Lake City.
Well, I know people who commute, so
Oh gosh.
yeah, isn't that awful? Also, if there's editing noise, I just sent you a picture of why that would be. Sorry about that,
cat
Kyle.
tax.
Wow, your cat does look
That's
very
so cute.
angry.
Oh, it looks even more pissed right now.
It's very pissed. Why is your cat angry? What did you do?
I know, I do like pick it up and throw it on the bed sometimes.
So you assault your cat.
That's
Okay,
hilarious.
well, in that case,
I once no, because cats like getting played with, and they always land on
Yeah.
their feet. So
I believe that would be victim blaming.
Uh,
Stop victim blaming your cat, Alex.
yeah.
I'm
probably
canceling all of you later.
Anyway, what were we
Any
talking
who's will
about?
be.
So there's 2 through running stations, which in its own right is a complete miracle.
Right, and they're a mile apart, and then all of the trains from them go to different places. So,
So I
like,
can see there's a lot of demand to go to one over the other.
basically all of the trains from Newark Penn, I think, go to Penn in New York.
New York, Pan.
Yeah, New York Penn.
I
And
don't know who named these.
basically all of the trains from Broad Street go to Hoboken.
Yeah, they've got this like funny like flyover thing that is old as shit and disintegrating and is also getting replaced as part of the Gateway project.
Yes, I'm looking at it on Google Maps right now. So,
Wow.
if you want to go to, Penn, but you're at Broad Street, tough luck. You have to go like all the way to Secaucus and transfer, or, whatever. And if you're at Penn and you want to go to Hoboken, well, you have to transfer, or you have to take like a weird path ride that no one in history has ever done. So
Weird, ugly, bad.
not very
evil.
convenient.
If only there was a
and-
solution.
Not to mention the flipping path lift bridge.
Yeah, not to mention the flipping path lift bridge, which is very funny.
Quote funny, unquote, as many commuters would agree.
I agree. And they're wrong. So, checkmate. So Broad Street and Newark Penn stations are like just barely a mile apart. but a connection between them is very important, which is why NJT built one, a $207 million, 1 mile long, mostly street running line.
That's impressive. Is this like new rolling stock, new maintenance facility, or it's just shared with the existing system?
Shares the existing system. The main,
How is it so expensive?
well, they had to build a portal to connect it into the city subways tunnel.
Oh, right, because it goes underground to go to Penn, and then it has to
and then
go back on
turns
the street
into,
for some reason.
No,
It goes into a goddamn one-way couplet. What is this?
on the street. Yeah, because they're not going to build
This
a
is
whole
God's
tunnel.
brokest light rail.
It is a very silly one-way couplet, or two-way couplet, I have to say. I do like that it's like one of them is on the universe's giantest strode, and the other one of them is just kind of like on a residential alley. I do find that quite amusing.
Yeah.
So they did that. They built that. And the line opened in 2006. And that's the system's current extent. 2 relatively short lines with absolutely gangbusters ridership. Something like 16,000 people per day on a 6-mile system.
Okay, that's pretty insane.
16,000 divided by 6 equals
2,500.
2,600. We've seen worse.
We've seen much worse. And this is like if the tide was good, basically.
Yeah, and this one could be way better if there were, get this, multiple lines, or if it, get this, went more places.
Oh, interesting concept. So, the
Yeah.
system today, I have a little map here for you so you can see it. There's a one silly little spur, and then one kind of longer one. Very curvy because it was a canal, as you can see. So,
But like I said, we got those broad sweeping curves
indeed.
by
So-
light rail standards.
Is there no large maintenance concern being in such an old canal bed?
Not really. It's just
Well,
I
it's just earthworks, right?
it's just earthworks.
Yeah, those have never really been a problem with anything.
No, but it does mean that the system is quite substantially grade separated, which is very strange for a light rail.
I know, right?
There are surface crossings, but there aren't a huge number of them. And major streets are mostly grade separated. So it's quite fun. I like it a lot, actually. Excellent frequency. Generally speaking, trains come as often as every 3 minutes on some parts of the system during peak
That's
hours.
way better than a blur.
I know. And then there's generally sub 20-minute service except very late at night.
Damn.
So it's quite a good little line. And about 20 minutes for a complete trip on the subway, so not very fast, but also not extraordinarily slow.
Cool.
Which I would guess is because there's a lot of stations. The stations are not very far apart. They
Yeah.
half mile at most, generally speaking. So
Light rail moment. Or
light rail moment.
streetcar moment, frankly, at this point.
True. So true, bestie. So the
Now just
future.
imagine you were on a coal barge instead of a light rail.
Then it would be very slow, I assume. I don't know how fast a coal barge goes.
Yeah, me
I would
neither.
say slow.
Slow.
I would say very slow.
Very slow, even.
Okay, so that's 4.85 miles every 20 minutes is about 15 mile an hour average, which is not that good.
Which is fine for light rail.
Let's see.
Eh.
How fast can a barge go? Would we
Yeah,
say...
right. Is it faster than a coal barge? How fast is a barge?
5 to 11 miles an hour?
Oh, so it's faster than a barge.
It's
Cool.
much faster than a barge.
Yeah, I imagine it's closer to 5 when fully loaded.
So it's 3 times as fast as a loaded barge,
Wow.
which is presumably what you'd be riding on.
You'd also be covered in soot, so...
Well, look, it is the East Coast.
Right, and there is no coal.
There's no coal, yeah.
Coal-free
So,
light rail.
the future of this system, not incredibly bright, although there is a totally unfunded plan for an extension to Newark Liberty Airport and southern
Hilarious.
suburbs of Newark.
Does this...
Bro, if we can't even get a path to the airport.
Is the airport extension digging another canal and then decommissioning it again?
So I think the idea would be to have a service running line along Broad
Okay.
Street. Because the stations I'm looking at on the little like extension map I have here, it says Government Center, Symphony Hall, and all of those things are on Broad Street. So
And then it kind of goes into the tangle approaching the airport and probably drops you off at the air train right next to
yeah, I think it would
the
have to have a flyover to cross the
commuter rail.
NEC and then like either go to the air train or actually go to the terminal maybe.
actually go to the but everybody loves paying for the air train, and honestly somebody would probably like sue them if they tried to compete with the air train.
Nuke the air train. Take the
What
light
if the
rail.
trains ran on to the air train line?
Oh, yeah, we're gonna gadget bonify the entire system for no reason.
Well, we're gonna ungadget bonify the air train.
Okay, that would actually be a decent idea. Although probably wicked
Thank you.
expensive.
Oh, completely stupid
You
use
have to
of
say
money.
wicked when we're talking about the East Coast.
This is true. So, wow, Newark is such a mess, man. The airport, I mean. Looking at it, like, there's like,
Yep.
oh.
We love the like old-fashioned like circle terminals.
Yeah. And then also, you
Like,
know, just
how-
having another one off to the side because your circle terminal is too small.
And also, what is this like pickup loop spaghetti?
I don't know, man. It's bad.
This is questionably designed airport.
I think that is true. Yes. So
Yeah.
the Broad Street line, the little spur, was originally meant to be the first portion of this line, but it got defunded when a Republican governor came into office.
What?
Was this the same? Was this the
Diff-
same governor who killed the original Gateway project
It might be,
Was
I
his name
think.
Larry Hogan?
in like the 2010s?
His name was not,
It's not Larry
surprisingly, his
Hogan.
name was not
Okay.
Larry Hogan.
Shocker.
That is actually a shocker, yeah. Given he's been the villain of the last two
yeah,
episodes.
he's that memorable. I actually remembered his name. It's like the Grinch.
You're a mean
Larry
one.
Hogan.
Larry Hogan.
We're just gonna blame Larry Hogan on anything, no matter what state we're talking about.
Yeah, pretty much. But the extension was mentioned in the 2016 thing, so like at least in the hearts and minds of like NJT planners, it is not yet dead.
I know, 2016 was a
So-
while ago now.
I'm sure they're still thinking about it. It lives rent free in their
Yeah,
heads, I
probably.
imagine.
I'd imagine having a functioning local transit system.
Yeah. Wouldn't you like a
Yeah.
functioning local transit system, Kyle?
Hey.
So I also saw somewhere that there is a completely unsubstantiated rumor that they want to connect it to the HBLR someday.
I mean, the HPLR is already creeping pretty far away.
Well,
So-
I mean, but I think there's actually a pretty decent alignment for it. You would take, I'll sketch it out on Google Maps, and then you guys can look at it and see what you think.
Well, I love.
Like, and it's not
I was gonna say,
actually.
if they keep extending both of those, eventually they'll kiss.
I do.
Like
I do
here,
love unsubstantiated rumors. That's the backbone of the podcast.
like I think it would be like this, because the HBR already has kind of a spur sticking out towards it, and there is like a railway right of way there, so you could kind of just like do it.
Oh, that way. I was thinking on the far south end, but that
Hmm.
makes a lot more sense.
That would actually probably be kind of a winner as far as lines go. Um,
Yeah.
but anyway, completely unsubstantiated. So, any closing thoughts on the Newark City subway?
It'd be cool if it was remotely as cool as a single thing New York has. But I guess that's just
I
Jersey
mean,
for you.
its stations look very much like New York, if that's any consolation. Here, I'll show you.
No, it really isn't. That's not even a consolation to people in New York.
Womp, 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 womp.
Has platform, check. Has comical amount of rusting steel, check.
There's something romantic about it.
Where's the third rail?
There's no
Where the
third
hell's the
rail.
third rail? Well, where's the physical danger? Oh, on those low platforms. Like, how are people gonna die?
Uh, there are at the station in question, though, some kind of cool, like, frescoes. So that's interesting.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking at the alignment you suggested for the connection of the two light rail systems, and they
Mm-hmm.
sure do have some disintegrating, mostly disassembled old rail lift bridge infrastructure, indicating
other
there used
words-
to, in fact, be a rail line there.
Perfect for a light rail line.
I know. Like, the main problem would just be, like, the sheer cost of those structures.
No, it wouldn't be that expensive.
It would probably be a lot cheaper than, like, I don't know, replacing the path lift bridge with a not a lift bridge. Because
Yeah.
it's new build, so.
You would have to build two bridges, though. You're right, that might be kind of expensive.
Path,
Especially since I think that both of
oh,
those
right,
channels, especially since I think that both of those channels are navigable, so you have to build like a bridge that stuff can
Yeah.
go under.
Comically expensive.
But it might be worth it. I mean, again, gangbusters ridership.
Maybe a tunnel could be an option as well, too.
Oh, yes,
Looks like
because
there's
let's
plenty of
make
room
it,
for portals.
10 times more expensive than a bridge for fun.
Why are we so bad at tunnels around here?
Woke.
Like the original, whatchamacallit, the tunnels under the Hudson for the NEC, those were originally supposed to be a bridge, but they were converted into tunnels for being 1/3 of the cost. Now, I know this is not the Hudson, so, bridges are a little bit more attainable over here.
Right, the Hudson's
But-
a very big river in a way that...
Maybe we should be not shit at tunnels. Like, this is probably just all mud. Can't we just do some immersed tube and call it a day?
Oh, possibly. Possibly.
Possible.
Although I don't know if these rivers are deep enough for an immersed tube, Kyle.
Oh,
Because again, they have to be
Damn.
navigable on the top and the bottom.
well, when you immerse the tube, you, like, dredge a trench into the bottom, right? To make some additional depth. how
Sometimes.
Bart did it.
Oh.
I guess you don't have to, but I'd assume you would.
Well, I would
Anyways,
assume so as well.
we're not civil engineers. Expensive,
No.
probably cool. Screw
Maybe
the path
just
lift
build a bridge. That would be easier. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I
The
got.
Tillicum
So,
Crossing of the East.
oh gosh, crossing the.
Yeah, and we'll make it slow for no reason.
Yeah, because we got to run a. Yeah, because we hate ourselves.
Yeah,
TriMet
light rail core
2024.
vibes. Real.
Oh, TriMet. You have such good bones. You could do so much. And instead, you're like, let's go as slow as we can, always, for no reason. So, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and to follow and leave us a rating on iTunes and/or Spotify. If you like what we do here, please consider becoming a member on Patreon. Patrons receive early access to all of our regular content, as well as exclusive content and occasional merch drops. Speaking of patrons...
Working on it.
Thanks, Kyle.
You're welcome.
You're a king.
Slay.
At...
Ooh, can we do, like, New Jersey stuff?
Sure, at path tier We have Zach Adams.
How is that the highest tier?
Path is
They have a massive comprehensive commuter rail system for our
fine.
commuter rail tier.
NJT tier, or NJT commuter rail tier. Zach Adams, Aaron, Curtis Herring, Devin Zander, Phobos 2390, and Tony Stunts.
I was going to say fully loaded coal barge tier, but do you have a better idea?
I like that one.
Fully loaded coal barge tier, $5 a month. We have Christopher Whaley, DJ High Will Watkins, Elijah Kensler,
Hi, Will.
G4, Isaac Madsen, Jesse Mayo, Nebula, Reluctant LA Resident, Robert P. Walsh, and Zephyr Zamoro.
At the Hubler tier, foreshadowing for future episodes where this will inevitably get covered, $3 a month, we have Alex Stokelski, Alice MYOB, Ben, Bradley Bondi, Ethan McDonald, Evelyn, Jack McCoskey, Litmus Dust, Martine Hecker Martinez, Matt Gray, McKay Ransom, Oliver, Purple Waves, Sam Myers, Sky Lukowski, and Zach Verstaat.
And at last, at Newark City Subway tier, $1 a month, Benjamin Wood, Joshua S. Horvath, Capil, and William Rowe.
Thank you all.
Thanks for listening. Don't
We
do
didn't choose
crimes.
the Canal Life. The Canal Life chose us.
That was a banger.
Or do
actually.
crimes, but only on coal barges.
Yeah, because it's in international waters or something.
Barges. You don't take barges in international waters.
You can if you want to. It's a free country.
They'd probably just flip over immediately.
Depends how loaded they are.
Don't tell me what I can and can't do.
Okay.
That's sexist.
Have fun on your like intercontinental coal barge.
Oh, I'm thinking
Yeah.
maybe instead of like doing church architecture for April Fools, maybe we do the Red Barge podcast and we do like barge history.
Yeah, we could talk
That would
about
be good because that's actually
Yeah.
transportation oriented.
we could talk about barge shipping on the Columbia River.
And we can do
would
a
be
regular
cool.
bit about how there's a standard story for the decline of barges and canals, like our streetcar bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be fun.
This is unironically a good idea. I think we should do it. Okay, anything else funny that anybody would like to say on air?
Nothing.
I'm going to beep the beep beep of the beep.
That wasn't funny. That was a very cheap joke.
I chuckled.
I'm so funny.
No.